Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to discuss the movie known as Shazam. And I have to, just waiting. Maybe I would turn into a super duper muscular character with lightning hands. But it didn't work. Nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back to a brand new Blitzwinger movie review. And I have to say, I need to go watch this movie once more, but this might very well be my favorite DCEU movie so far. If it's not, Wonder Woman is still maybe just a tad bit better, but I have to say this movie was an utter blast. I felt like it had such great pacing. At no point in this movie did I go like, oh man, how long has this been going on for? I did not look at the time. I did not worry about the time. It felt like it was really well paced. It had so much comedy, which was just so refreshing, especially from a DC movie. Of course, technically speaking, that's kind of where we've been headed after Aquaman, but it's really cool to see the DC universe embrace some more lighter tones, because again, my whole point was always that the only character in the DC main roster of characters that fits that kind of much darker, grittier tone is Batman. That's why when we see the trailer for the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, it actually makes sense. That universe is supposed to be very gritty and very dark. But when you take that same palette and tone and start painting Superman and Wonder Woman, and in this case it would have been Shazam, in the same exact tones, I feel like it really kind of makes things very dull and not particularly interesting to watch. And I know people are gonna say, well, can't you just experience gritty superheroes and blah blah. We have enough grittiness in the real world. Usually when you go to a superhero movie, for me at least, what I look for is something a little bit more akin to Shazam. And this doesn't mean that I can't enjoy the grittiness, because like I've always said, The Dark Knight is still my favorite movie of all time, and then in addition to that, it's still my favorite superhero movie of all time. So I absolutely get what you're saying. It's just that I don't think it fits all the characters. So with that little tangent out of the way, let's go on ahead and focus on the task at hand, and that is Shazam. So going into this, I really was pleasantly surprised even when the first trailers came out, because when the trailers came out, I was like, oh wow, this looks like it's going to be fun. And then as we got closer to it, I thought it was going to be one of those, where I would place it, or the equivalent into the Marvel universe. I would say it looked like Ant-Man. And that's not a bad thing necessarily. What I mean, though, is it did not look like something that was going to be extremely enjoyable, but it looked like it was going to be a fun movie. It was just going to be something where you can go to it, enjoy your time at it, but it's not going to really, surprise you in any meaningful way or have any type of hugely emotional beats or anything like that. But I have to say, a lot of the stuff that they did with the families and creating your own, the motif of creating your own family outside of not just your biological family and everything like that, was actually really extremely well done. I thought that all the actors that they cast, especially the kid actors, they did a great job as well, because oftentimes when they cast kid actors, they're kind of cheesy and they kind of they don't do a particularly great job. They either overact or they look like they don't even know what they're doing. So in this case, they found really great actors. They knocked it out of the park. I thought the actor for Billy Batson was really well done. I thought the actor for Freddie Freeman was really well done as well. And then the rest of the cast of the Foster family, they're all really well cast, and they were charming and funny, and they just at no point were they annoying, just oh they're there just to be there. They all fulfilled their roles. They all had important little moments. They all had certain scenes that made you laugh and maybe had a cool impact on the story. So I really thought that they did an excellent job with the casting here, and then of course all the actors did an excellent job of acting as those characters. And then on top of that, as far as the big casting is of course Shazam himself, and that's Zachary Levi, and I thought that he was perfectly cast for this role. He is as good as Shazam as anyone is going to be. I know that this is probably going to seem very hyperbolic, but the way that Robert Downey Jr. has become Iron Man, I really do think that Zachary Levi will be the equivalent of that to Shazam, because I just can't see anybody else acting in that kind of goofy way where it doesn't come off forced or contrived. I think he did such a good job that I don't see anybody else ever as Shazam. Now, to be fair, I don't really know a lot about Shazam. I've read a few comic book storylines like Injustice and things like that where he's appeared and he was a part of those things in some regard, but never have I read like a complete comic book arc for the character. So to be fair, maybe he's not completely excellent or fitting to a lot of the comic book runs, but what I do think he did a great job is kind of portraying of what would happen if a kid suddenly became a superhero who's a full-blown adult, and just the goofiness with which he approached the whole process was excellent. I did think that sometimes there might have been a little bit of a discrepancy between Billy Batson and Zachary Levi as Shazam. Like in some scenes, it seemed like Zachary was maybe acting a little bit like over the top, but it never took me out of the movie, and I still enjoyed it a lot. That's what I'm saying. Like, I've watched the movie once, and I do want to watch it one more time before I kind of make like conclusive decisions on it and so on and so forth. But for me, I really had such a blast. I don't want to talk about anything spoilers wise, but something that happens in the movie, and for those of you that have seen it, please don't spoil it in the comment section, but I'll just say, let's just say the last act of the film absolutely shocked me. I did not expect that, and it was just such a cool concept to introduce in this movie. I did not even know that it was a thing. I have gone back and looked at the comics and now have found out more about that, but it's just fascinating that they dove into that element, and it's just really, 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 really cool to see that particular twist. Now, with that all in mind, ladies and gentlemen, of course, let me know what you guys think of the movie down in the comment section below. I am very, very, very curious. Please keep it spoiler free. If you guys want to see a spoiler review as well, please go on ahead and let me know down in the comment section below and hit that like button. Let's make it a challenge. If we hit 1,000 likes, I'll do a spoiler talk for this movie. Maybe I'll even bring like Gamer on or somebody else who has seen the film, and we can get into the more nitty-gritty stuff for the movie and kind of discuss more of the tones, the themes, and kind of more of the actual plot in much more specificity. But overall, really had a blast with it. I was shocked by how good it was. Maybe it was just my expectations going into it, that they weren't like over the moon, but I was, not only were my expectations met, they were surpassed, and I had such a fun time with this movie. I cannot wait to go back to watch it again, and that's always a good sign. If I go back to a movie to watch it once more while it's still in theaters, to me, that means they did something right. Nevertheless, ladies and gents, thank you so very much for watching today's, or listening, I guess, to today's review here for Shazam, aka Captain Marvel, by the way, but legally they can't call him Captain Marvel because Captain Marvel is actually owned now by Marvel, aka we saw that movie like, what, 3-4 weeks ago, or something like that. Oh, I guess it was more than that at this point, but regardless, thanks all for watching. I'll, of course, hopefully see you here on the next one. Peace out. See you later, alligators.